they've found a sense of family and meaning. So how do we? But part of that is a want to. A lot of people want to come to church and just be a pew filler.
But what if people want to come to church, but Aaron, I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
Well,
that's where a connections team comes into play. You have to have those people
right
that are willing to just be out front and say, "Hey, I'm here to help you through."
Right.
Almost like a.
But that's an attitude for the whole church.
So how do we? Right? Yeah, I mean, it's a mentor-protege relationship, and there was, I talk back a lot about the Navy, but more than half my life was spent there.
It's less than half now.
Not quite
less
half
than
now.
half now.
Okay, 22 years. 22 beloved years of my life.
Out of 46.
Out of 47.
7. Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
You do your math. That's less than half now.
I know. It's nearly half my life. But we always had when I first joined, I had a sea daddy, right?
Okay.
And that was, show me the ropes.
Right.
This is how you do things, take you under a wing. Shout out Chris Buchanan. He called me his sea pup. and he was my sea daddy.
But that mentoring relationship, I think we've misunderstood in the church.
I think you're right.
I think mentoring in what you're talking about was an equal part. You tell me. It seemed to me to be an equal part of I'm teaching you something, along with a balanced approach of I just want to be your friend.
When there was an expectation, Buck was, I was, wet behind the ears, and Buck had 12 years in the Navy, and he was on the fast path to chief, and the whole purpose of that program was to train them to take your place.
Okay.
I don't think we see that a lot today in churches.
No, because I don't want to give up my place.
Right.
It's my identity.
But,
if I give up my place, then who am I?
We train up these younger kids, or young adults, or medium adults, or whoever they are. We train them up so that they're prepared when we move off into greener pastures. In the Navy, we transfer in, transfer out, transfer in, transfer out. It was a never-ending cycle. There always had to be somebody there to get the job done still. Mm-hmm. And so I fear sometimes that we get so locked in at churches with so few people doing so many things that if that individual isn't there, what's not going to get done?
But is that also because of you have to you got to be a Christian, then you got to be a member of the church. You've got to, and to be a member, you've got to be here 3 times in a row, and then you get to become a member. And then once you're a member, we all have to know you. And then if you don't know the 5 people on the committee on committees, then you're not going to get squat.
Well, we do put a lot of roadblocks in the way.
Are those checks and balances, or are they obstacles?
Or are they expectations? You have to do so much before we'll recognize you as an asset.
Okay, an asset.
I don't want to.
No, but let's talk about that for a second, because if you. Now, what I just walked us through, does it take somebody of all of those requirements to open the door and say hi?
No, gosh, no.
Okay, but my point is that all of these things, it's like it's either 0 or it's 60, or in Texas, 75. It's
80.
either 0 or 75 or 90, But what if somebody wants to travel at 40? We all curse them on the highway if they travel 40.
Right.
But you got to be 40 to get to 60. So what if we're actually killing ourselves for the future because we simply won't provide opportunities? And, a non-member? What does it take to open a door?
Like a stepped program almost? Not a stepped program, not a
it's an
13-step program, but yes, you kind of
onboarding.
You merge yourself, like merging onto a highway.
Right.
You're not going 75 miles an hour as soon as you...
Which, by the way, you and I recently have taught kids how to drive.
Oh, my gosh. I don't. Joanna does.
There's a reason for that.
I'm not patient to bring back last week.
I know, right? Merging doesn't mean, and I saw the other day I saw this. I'm driving down the highway and and I see this guy wanting to come up onto the highway, and he pulls up and he stops.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, you're never getting on if you don't at least, you have to get up to a certain speed to get into traffic.
And that's initiative. That's hey, I want something, so I'm going to go get something.
Right.
But I think in church life, some of that initiative can be squelched
Right.
because,
Right.
well, you haven't been here long enough, or you haven't filled this block.
Right. I mean, how long does it take to be a member for you to sing in the choir? And or should it?
Well,
I mean that's a rhetorical question. I'm not necessarily making you answer
yes.
that.
Yes.
But that's the point. I mean, okay, how long? I mean, what are the requirements to open the door? And I keep coming back to that because A, we need people to open the door. But
Could be you.
are there opportunities other than high leadership that we can provide? I mean, we've got a workday coming up. Does it take long-standing membership to lead a workday project,
Or to just come in and move some boxes.
or to say take charge of that room?
Yeah, hey, here's your room. Here's your folks.
Does it take long? I understand the Bible talks about teachers having a higher responsibility, and we should vet them a little bit more.
Sure.
I think if you're going to be in charge of money, then you should be vetted. Your attendance should be high. You should be highly committed, both physically, mentally, spiritually, to what's going on. If you're going to handle money, make decisions, make administrative issues, I think those things appropriately ought to be high-level kinds of
Right.
things.
That's
but,
a leadership in service, though.
but facilities
To just serve?
to turn a wrench. Does it take a long-standing member to turn a wrench?
No, it doesn't.
To lay a wood floor, to sweep a floor. I mean, to spray disinfectant between services.
But-
Does it take long-standing members to do this?
No, and the thing that we need, I think, is a willingness to bring someone along, and that takes work. And sometimes when we going back to mentoring,
Mm-hmm.
to bring that person along, spiritually as
Right.
well as physically,
Right.
it takes work,
Absolutely.
and sometimes it gets frustrating
Absolutely.
because if you're mentoring me and I'm not hitting those marks that where you think I should be, that becomes frustrating for you, and it becomes I don't know, intimidating or whatever it is. From like I don't feel good about not being able to be where I need to be right now.
Right.
And you're like, I've helped you, and at some point you're just gonna have to get it.
I mean, isn't this also, not to be negative, the cup's half empty, but we talked about that last time that
Yeah.
I can go there. Isn't this also, I'm a process analyst. I'm going to look at the process. I can analyze it. Systems analyst, here, we can fix this and do this better.
Right.
You worked on planes.
Yes.
You get it. This bolt really should be here because it serves better
Yeah,
here.
right.
Okay. So the process of discipleship needs to be, what are the levels of discipleship? I mean, I think we have to provide opportunity. I mean, Paul would say several times in his letters, to show grace, to show mercy, be forgiving and kind to one another.
Right.
And I think that means more than just don't cuss them publicly. I think that it has also something to do with, look, some people are not as far along as you.
Right.
Some people don't think that eating meat out of the idol worship marketplace should be done. You think it's not a big deal, so you go ahead and you do it. Okay, you don't think it's a big deal, they do. Who's right and who's wrong? So discipleship needs to be more than just, okay, I just think we need to have levels of it and
Well, I think
expectations.
I've heard you say this more than once. You can either be right or you can be heard. And if we want,
Don't use my words against me.
and if we want to process that, yes, what you're saying is 100% right. But if I come at someone that has known their entire life
Right.
this way of living,
Sure.
And then all of a sudden I say, nope, you're wrong. And there's no
Right.
there's no middle ground here.
Right.
I'm right, you're wrong, fix it or die.
Right.
That's not discipling.
So what you're saying is discipleship is not a black and white issue. It's a gray issue.
It's a growth issue.
Okay.
It's a growth issue. So if well, let's talk about our kids, right?
Yeah.
When I know ours both played some sort of a bat and ball sport.
Yep.
We didn't start out from 60 feet 6 inches
No.
on a pitching machine throwing 70-mile-an-hour fastballs.
No.
You put it on a tee. Once they figure out the tee, you lob it up to them.
Yeah.
Once they figure out to lob it up, you put it on a line to them. Then you come overhand to them. Then they get to the point where
Right. It's
I
gradual.
can't throw to you anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
My
shoulder hurts. I can't
it's
do that
gone.
anymore.
Coach, you got them.
Right.
Then we pass them off.
Right.
Discipleship is the same way to me. You have to start off and you have to tee it up and give them an opportunity to hit it. And then change it a little bit. And, all right, we're going to make this a little tougher. But you have to be willing and ready to progress on those stages.
Right.
I don't know what those stages are for discipleship. I mean, I don't think I could quantify each level like you would baseball.
Which is hard. That's the hard part of Christianity is how do I measure the growth?
And I don't think everyone is going to grow at the same speed or pace.
Right.
You know, not every first grader is going to come and understand.
Not every first grader makes it to second grade.
Some people have to repeat seventh grade.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Best 2 years of my life. Not really.
You know, and you know, like with Samuel, we also chose that waiting an extra year before even starting school was appropriate and prepared him for the emotional needs better. Whereas Isabella, we threw to the wolves. No, I mean we when it was time, we sent her up. But and that's recognizing differences and allowing for those differences. Discipleship's not cookie cutter. You're right. There's no hard and fast rule of level 1, level 2, level 3.
It's not there.
But there is in general. I mean, that when I was coaching baseball and softball, we had 8 and under.
Mm-hmm.
league.
Oh yeah.
Then you had basically 10 and under. They called
Yeah.
it 9 and 10. But if an 8-year-old was super,
They could progress up
they
to
could
continue.
progress up. And, you know, so, but if not, they stayed where they were until it was time to move up.
Right.
And I saw something happen in the league that we were in that was detrimental, I felt. 8 and under was after T-ball, you went to 8 and under softball, and it was machine pitch,
Right.
8 and under. And then the 9 and 10-year-old, the next level up, they went directly into girl pitch. No 9-year-old was really. I mean, do you realize how many walks we had
Yes.
every game?
It's
They weren't ready. And I begged the league, I begged them, would you please do coach pitch at 8 and under? Move to machine pitch to the next level while you're prepping girls to pitch.
yes.
And
Yeah, they're
then,
not ready.
And then at 11 and 12, you're going to be more ready to actually pitch the ball.
Yeah, they're not ready physically.
Right.
I mean, some can. Just in Christianity, some will be ready.
That's right.
Some will be ready for that next
Which
next
some
step.
of that's genetics.
Some of it is home life.
Yeah. A lot of it's home.
You know,
life, actually.
my kids were all saved at a very young age.
Mine too. Yep.
But-
VBS.
And yeah,
Early.
it was either
Second grade.
in VBS or right following VBS.
Right.
Marcus was kind of weird. He was early. Marcus was 5 years old.
Yeah.
Very intuitive kid.
I can tell.
Yeah,
He just sees stuff.
he's weird. Anyway, takes after his
Don't
Parents.
say it. Don't say
Parents.
it. Don't say it. Okay. Yeah.
parents. I was going somewhere with that, but I don't know.
Well,
where I was going.
you wanted to say that he was watching those people play and he just
Right.
started playing along in some savant moment.
Oh,
So to say that some
Yeah.
people can just get it quicker than others.
Some people do get it. They understand it.
And so, in the same way that maybe we shouldn't overpraise for the esteem issues of the others,
Right.
maybe we don't overproject and force them into roles they're not ready to play. I mean, I think I said Sunday, we're pushing kids on that don't even know how to read,
Oh, yeah.
and that's inappropriate. I love the ISDs. I understand
And
money.
it's not them. It's not them.
No. So, but in church, just because you are at a certain age doesn't mean you know how to read.
Yes. Or can eat on your own.
And so, Peter would say, I wanted to take you to the meat, but you're still stuck on the milk
Yeah.
because you haven't progressed. You haven't chosen to move forward.
Again, it's initiative.
Right.
Just
so
like that on-ramp.
your sea daddy had a responsibility to oversee and overwatch and take care and prepare you.
Right.
The sea pup had a responsibility to watch and learn and do, and it was a both and.
Exactly. It has to be a both and. Because if one person is working towards your discipleship and you're not gonna gain any knowledge, you're not gonna gain any experience, you're not gonna gain anything. You're just gonna get older.
Right. So, okay, church life.
Church life.
5 generations at church at one time. Right now, we're basically, we almost have 5 generations that'll show up at church sometimes. Those in their 90s are far and few
That
between.
fifth,
But
yes.
before COVID, we had 5 generations.
Yeah.
And today, unlike, I believe, any other generation or century, those 5 generations are 5 completely separate cultures and people groups.
And
That God says you're supposed to mix and mingle and love and grow together. So who goes first? Who's supposed to step out first? Did you have to meet your sea daddy, or did your sea daddy meet the sea pup first?
he came to me.
Right. So the older should come out to the younger. Titus 2.
Right?
You,
Yeah.
the elder, should reach out to the younger. I was talking to Dulcie the other day. I said, at what point are we the elder people now?
I'm 47.
And I'm 50, and I'm not the youngest in my house. Anyway.
Hey.
Oh! But, at what point? I'll pay for that later.
You will. You're terrible.
Yeah, I'm horrible, man. I married an older woman. But anyway.
Now it's even worse. Quit digging.
So, we were talking about marriage mentors and couples and maybe thinking through a whole new process of discipleship. And I said, we're talking about, well, maybe older couples and middle couples and younger couples, maybe, try to work them together. And I said, and we were thinking about that, and we reached out to another couple, and we were thinking about a third couple. And I said, what if we're the old couple in the group?
Possible.
Well, it's a tough pill to swallow because we've never thought of ourselves as the older couple.
Right.
But what if we're the older couple now? I think of somebody that's married in their 20s, married in their 30s, married in their 40s, and now we're married in our 50s. Maybe, yes, there are those that are married in their 60s and 70s, but at what point do we become the older couple?
Yeah.
And maybe instead of trying to manipulate something else, maybe we're just the older couple.
And that's a tough transition to realize that I am as young as I used to be.
So maybe it falls then to us as Gen Xers, those born after 65. Gen Xers, it's now on us. We've waited our whole generational life
Right.
to be in charge of something, and the boomers won't retire, so we can't ever take,
Won't or can't. Let's just,
well, in our economy, I don't think can.
Right.
They can't retire yet. We've waited our whole life. What if church is now the grand opportunity for us to take charge and say, you know what, I'm going to own. I'm the older couple.
Yeah.
And so we're going to reach out. We're going to be the sea daddies and sea mamas
Yeah.
to the sea pups coming along, whether they're 32 or 12. Maybe we're now at a point. Maybe that's what we can provide.
Yeah. And what does that take? It takes experience in marriage, right?
26
married-
and a half.
Yeah, 25 and 25, 26, 26.
Oh boy.
Sometimes I forget numbers. Anyway,
Okay.
25 was a good one. I want to remember
Well,
that one forever.
we're both preachers. We'll just round up to 30 and call it.
Yeah, we've been forever.
Ministerially speaking, we've been
Yes.
married,
But not near long enough.
That's right. Every day is a brand new day.
What else can we say?
I
that gets
don't
us out of
know,
this?
but we're in a hole,
There
man.
we are.
Give me a shovel. 'cause
Anyway.
I think we're.
And cut. Here we go. But we've veered off the path here.
No, we're still on discipleship.
We are, and we've gone from how do you go from service
Yeah,
to just being here, filling a need,
yeah.
opening a door, wiping a pew, shaking a hand
Well-
when that time comes.
Every single one of us, no matter our age, every single one of us, we're going to have to stop thinking somebody else will handle that.
Right.
You are the somebody else now. You are the somebody else. We have to break through that. Because I think we live in that, somebody's going to handle, surely we pay enough staff, somebody's going to handle that. Well, Ephesians 4:12 says, I'm paid to equip you to do the work of the ministry. So,
It's got to be a want to, though.
but they have to want to.
Got to be a want to.
So do we then need to provide opportunities as well as provide an atmosphere that's welcoming to want to? How much of that's still on us as the older?
Well, opportunity, 100%. I think we have to get to a point that we're willing to give up some things.
Yeah.
And I really struggle with that. I'm a control freak.
It's if I can't do it, it doesn't get done right. That's how I feel sometimes,
Sometimes.
and I need to let that go. I mean, I'm working at it.
Yeah.
This year, I told Samuel, you're the light engineer. Go outside, do the lights.
Nice. That's huge.
Oh my gosh. It looks great. No shade. Looks great. But I had to consciously decide, don't go out there.
Right.
He asked for help on a couple of things.
And
I went out and I helped.
And that's where we have to be in church life. I'm going to let you go, but know that I'm going to be right here beside you or right here behind you.
Right.
And if you need me,
Right.
I'm right here. Don't be afraid to reach out. Samuel, don't be afraid to reach out when you don't know where this strand of lights goes.
Right.
Church member, don't be afraid to reach out when you don't know where X goes.
Right. Right. And sometimes we don't know either.
Sometimes we don't know anything. We have to work through it.
Right. But we all have to have that initiative to take the steps. Whether that's taking the step to attend, to move from online to on campus, outside of a COVID issue.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got COVID issues, by all means, watch online.
Please.
But if online for you is just because you're not prepared to be on campus yet, maybe that's a step.
That's your gradual next step.
And from that point, you move into you move into building relationships, whether that's building relationships in worship or getting into a smaller group of people where you can build relationships and learn to love one another and love the community well through.
Right. I'll tell you this, with D groups, the group that Joanna's in, they have grown to become family. And
Yeah.
now that they are able to open up and to love on each other and to share things that they wouldn't normally share with anyone
Sure.
through this process. And it's just allowed those ladies to grow. So thank you for bringing D groups, right? D groups was a vision of yours, that we need to be more intentional about studying God's word with like people.
Yes.
And so that's been huge for them. And they have some younger ladies with them. She and Laura are kind of the matriarchs, if you will.
Sure,
And then they
sure.
have their proteges, and that's
Right. Now it's time to send the proteges out of the nest to now you take on some new proteges.
Let's see what we can do here. Let's see
Yeah.
how we can grow this
Yeah.
thing.
So D group sign up actually starts, I guess, today.
Today, right now.
We're going to start right now.
Call in.
You can call in and say, I want to be on a D group, in a D group. You can say, hey, I want to continue to be in a D group, even though it may not be my same D group. Because here's the thing. You've grown to know those people. You've walked through the Bible in a year together. And now maybe some of you from different groups can learn to relate and know one another and walk through it together. Even though maybe the whole group's been through it once, go through it again.
Right.
So watch for the s'more this week, and you're going to find a link to a form, a simple form for you to fill out and say, I want to be in a D group, or I'm ready to take a group.
Ready to take a group.
You're not having to teach a curriculum.
No, you're reading the Bible.
Everybody reads the Bible together. They all read the same Bible together, and you just talk about what did God say to you. So if you're like, I'm not ready for a D group, well, can you read the Bible? Can you be open to what God may want to say to you? And can you just talk about that? That's all that it is. But it's fascinating what can happen to you in that year.
Yeah. And the growth that you'll see.
Yeah.
Both within your group and with your own self spiritually, where you can be transformed.
Yep.
By the renewing of your mind.
That's right.
Through
infused
with strength and purity.
There you go. I nearly wore my shirt.
It's all good. What else do we have coming up?
Well, but Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then Christmas. We're going to be unwrapping Christmas.
Yeah, I'm excited about this series.
Yeah, it's going to start this coming Sunday, actually. Unwrapping Christmas. Unwrapping hope, unwrapping faith, unwrapping joy, unwrapping peace, and just walking through. We're going to walk through the Christmas story in 5 weeks, the 29th of November through December 27th, and we're just going to walk through the Christmas story.
Sounds so familiar, like it's...
We're just going to unwrap Christmas.
Like Advent or something. Sorry. I didn't mean to.
Don't be so ecumenical, man.
I'm sorry.
No, but yeah, it is. It is. And actually, if you look at what the Advent should be, and maybe this is what we'll talk about next time, if we look at what the Advent really should be, the Advent is not about a ritual of lighting candles. The Advent is supposed to be telling the story of Jesus, from the prophecy to the birth and the Magi.
Right.
This is to be telling the story through a physical example. Unfortunately, sometimes we make it too ritual, and we leave it like that. Oftentimes, like we just go through the motions of church and don't actually.
Anyway.
So, but yeah, we're going to unwrap Christmas. Because who of us doesn't need hope right now?
Right.
Who of us doesn't need to know, hey, who can I actually trust?
When I drive home, I'll take Meadowview home, right across from, just catty corner from Jan and Jerry's house. There's a house, big bright blue letters, says Hope. It's been up there since early March when this all started.
Yeah, that's right.
And it can't be any more true right now.
Absolutely.
The hope that we have in a Savior that we're waiting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We all deal with trust issues.
We do.
And we don't think that Mary and Joseph had trust issues, but December 6th, we're going to find out that they had some trust issues.
They did have trust issues, yeah.
And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how do I find joy in the mess and stress, not only of COVID, but also of Christmas. Because, man, we're anxious and anxiety puppies sometimes.
Yeah.
What do we do with that?
We are.
Are we the only ones? No. So, unwrapping Christmas and how we can unwrap it for others. So,
we're going to unwrap some turkey on Thursday.
We got ham. We're not turkey people. We're ham people. So.
We have carnivores at my house, so we're doing both.
Right. Right. We're going to do, Dulcie's actually going to make her famous 5-flavor cake.
We'll see how famous that is. Wink, wink, nod, nod.
Oh, you just want more cinnamon rolls is what you want.
Yes. It is cinnamon roll season.
Cinnamon roll season!
I think they have a double oven at their house.
We do. So it's time to start popping cinnamon rolls in.
Looking forward to